Good morning. Pastor Tyrone P. Jones, Church for the City, Yuma, Arizona. In Prisms is a bi-monthly newsletter sent out by Hillsdale College. Each one features an excellent article on current cultural thought and expression. The basic content of this video was inspired by a speech given by Christopher Rufo that was printed in part in prison. It's become commonplace to refer to things we experienced in America during the 60s. You may recall the rise of civil rights by leading activists, or during that time, free love and sex in contrast to the morality of America in the previous decades. The proliferation of drugs in abundance, the rising of crimes and political upheaval, which even included the assassination of a U.S. president, a presidential candidate, and leading civil rights leaders. Rufo notes the 1960s saw the rise of a new and radical ideologies in America that now seem commonplace. Ideologies based on ideas like identity politics, cultural revolution, and public policies being adapted today in leftist-run cities like Seattle, San Francisco, and Chicago. What damaged our stalwart institutions that began a half-century ago has now proved largely successful. If you look at the federal bureaucracy, the government, the universities, K through 12 schools, and big corporations, you will now clearly see the revolutionary ideas of the 60s that have been repackaged, reproduced, and injected into American life at the institutional level. Just for starters, look at our schools. We've all seen the outrage over parents if they've learned that their young children were being divided according to their skin color and deemed oppressed or oppressors in public school classrooms, or their outrage against critical race theory. There's been a similar response following the more recent revelations about the Walt Disney Company forcing employees to engage in a critical race theory training program and their misguided opposition to Florida Governor DeSantis's bill that prohibited teaching about gender ideology, sexual orientation, and sexuality in kindergarten, first grade, second grade, and third grade classrooms. I can certainly speak much about our governmental institutions that should be trusted and lost credibility, and the ones that still have biblical values in their fiber, yet are attacked and threatened to be torn down. But enough of that. I do believe there are good strategies that are put forth by smarter people than me to oppose much of the radical so-called progressive assaults against, at one time, trusted institutions. And honestly, that we'll do. We'll do it aggressively, politely, and biblically. But what is more beneficial for all of us is to be part of an institution that cannot be corrupted, that has stood against all assaults, an institution that has leadership that cannot be overthrown, and has rule and authorities that are absolutely true. What institution is that? The kingdom of God. I'm going to close with these verses. Hebrews 12:18 through 29. You have not come to a physical mountain, to a place of flaming fire, darkness, gloom, and whirlwind, as the Israelites did in Mount Sinai. No, you've come to Mount Zion, to the city of the living God, the heavenly Jerusalem, and to countless thousands of angels in a joyful gathering. You have come to the assembly of God's firstborn children, whose names are written in heaven. You've come to God himself, who is the judge over all things. You've come to the spirits of the righteous ones in heaven who have now been made perfect. You have come to Jesus, the one who mediates the new covenant between God and people, and to the sprinkled blood which speaks forgiveness. When God spoke from Mount Sinai, his voice shook the earth, but now he makes another promise. Once again, I will shake not only the earth, but the heavens also. This means that all of creation will be shaken and removed, so that only unshakable things will remain. Since we are receiving a kingdom that is unshakable, let us be thankful and please God by worshiping him with holy fear and awe. Come into the institution that cannot be shaken. God bless you.